let's go. So what we did last time, and then I tried to record it in video, and it didn't work very well, so we're doing it again, is we wrote this out on the board. Winston, do you remember what this is? What did we call this? We call this the compass. We call it the compass. Well, Winston doesn't want even his voice to be on the internet, which I understand. It's kind of high and squeaky. Okay. So here are the letters that we talked about in the last one. Here they are by fifths. And what I did is I kind of lined up all of the entire compass of the music from middle C, which is right here, all the way 1, 2, 3, 4 octaves below it, and 1, 2, 3, 4 octaves above. And essentially, if you take the middle C, you can write this out for yourself. If you take your middle C line like this, and you do 14 lines going down, and then do 14 lines going up, you have pretty much all of the notes that we use in music from an octave below this C, the one that would be down here, to an octave above this C, the one that would be way up here. And that's essentially what this is with all these lines and spaces. And then you can take this clef right here, this C clef, which designates middle C. Sometimes it looks like this, and sometimes it kind of looks like a little 3 thing like this, usually kind of decorated, sometimes with something there. You take, or sometimes with something like this, you see all different kinds of versions of it. But there's a marker clef that tells you where middle C is. And you put it right on that middle line, and that marks middle C. And then a fifth below it, meaning 2 lines below, is this, which marks the F clef, and this one, which marks the G clef. And if you put those on there, basically, it shows you how these clefs relate to each other, how they're marking different places in the whole. And it can kind of give you a different visualization for how these relate to each other. So if you're writing notes here, you can kind of see how they would relate to notes here in actual space. And if you're writing notes here, how they relate to this. Can be kind of a helpful visual. And then once you have that, we can kind of look at, in this, as you go around in pitches, you just go up basically from C, D, E, and you just go around and around. Every time you get to C, you pass this same C again, going like this as you go up, and going like this as you go down. And the same thing is true if we go in fifths, where we go C, D, E, F, G. So we go from C to G, and then the next one is going to be a D, and then the next one's going to be an A, the next one's going to be an E, the next one's going to be a B, the next one's going to be an F, and then as you can see, we're right back at C. So it kind of works out nifty in this, in that we get one time around the circle of fifths to get from the bottom to middle C, and then we get another time around the circle of fifths to get from the middle C to the top C. So you kind of have a circle of fifths here and a circle of fifths here. We have 4 octaves this way, we have 4 octaves this way. And you can see the fifths, how they line up. Now essentially it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because in music we count both the starting note and the end note. In some ways I think a simpler way of thinking about what the clef is, especially if you're looking at these C clefs that seem to move all over the place. Because you'll see something like this, and you say, okay, well that's one clef, that's alto clef, and then you'll see one that looks like this, that's tenor clef. You say, oh, well they're moving things. The clef is moving. Actually, the clef isn't moving. What we're doing is we're selecting a different group of 5. And you can do the same thing with the F clef or with the G clef. You can pick a different group, and all that clef does is marks where that particular note, where that particular line is. And notice they're always marking lines, never spaces. Anyway, this is a way of thinking about it, and so you can write this out for yourself if it's helpful. All right, let's be done.